Hey guys, Merry Christmas and welcome along to another video. You join me here in quali for the next round of the Nations Cup here at Fuji International Speedway. Now this is a big lobby, 350 points on offer for this one, and actually I thought the game had crashed as I came out by myself there. That's never actually happened before. I always seem to come out last, but I'm out here by myself, which is both a positive and a negative. We avoid the traffic, but we get no slip down the 1.5 kilometre long straight. But I backed myself, as you can see here, and cracked on rather than waiting. And we actually got a decent first lap. We come across the line with a 1 minute 37.789. Well, it did look good anyway, until all the lads with the slip came flying through and we dropped down to 10th place. But we were up here through Sector 1, we were up again by the time we finished Sector 2, and despite just missing out on having enough time for a third attempt by about a second, we improved and we would end up starting in P12 for this one with a 1 minute 37.533, which would ultimately be about 7.5 tenths off pole here. Not bad for this car. This pug wasn't great in a straight line and without a slip down the huge straight. So moving on to the race itself, we've got 15 laps here of Fuji International Speedway. We've moved on to hards, as you can see, as we're in the mid-pack. We're going to save the better compound for later. The strat here is that you need to use both mediums and hards, and we're going to come in at the end of lap 7, and fuel, by the way, is not an issue, so we have to worry about that. What we do have to worry about though is getting this thing stopped for turn number 1 on these cold hards. As you're going to see, I get completely caught out. I punt someone, I didn't see who it was at the time, so I dropped right back to ensure whoever it was came back through. And it was time then to try and make my way back through the field. I can already see the pack has pretty much split into two groups. One that is going to be on the medium and one that is going to be on the hard. So hopefully things shouldn't be too disastrous. So we're going to move forward to the end of lap 1, moving on to lap 2 here. We're in the slipstream, and you can really see here how much of a struggle this thing is in a straight line. It's nothing compared to the Corvette, which is probably the quickest car that we're going to see today down the big long straight. Up in front, the Dutchman in the Peugeot, same car as us, has gone up the inside of the Brit there, so he's up to 18th. We're in 19th, but the pack up ahead is nice and congested. That's exactly what we want to see. And we're going to throw one from downtown here up the inside of the BMW. We're in a bit of a rush. We want to make the move here. We're on the outside, but that's fine because we're on the inside, on the outside, and then back on the inside. The Dutchman makes taking 18th place nice and easy for us there. And then the Swiss helps us get up to 17th. This is a really tight and tricky section. So technical, the end of Fuji. Such a contrast from this, the big long straight. So we're up to 17th. We've got eyes on 16th here. So we're going to slam on the anchors, get it stopped, hit the apex, and also give the other driver enough space on the outside so we're not running them off onto the Astro. A simply lovely move, even if I do say so myself. And as we come across the line to start lap number 4, I fancy another one. So we're going to slam on the anchors here again. We make the apex one more time. Give him just about enough space. I think he got onto the Astro himself there. I think we did give him more than a car's width, so I was happy with that one. But we're up to 15th. So the ascendancy following our issue on lap number 1 continues. And you're going to see here the sheer difference. I mentioned earlier how quick the Corvettes were. Even in the slipstream, I cannot keep up with them. But that is going to be the last of my issues as we come down into turn number 1 on lap number 5. I get my braking all wrong once again, have to take evasive action, avoiding everyone thankfully. I almost took out 2 Corvettes and an Alfa in that one, so we find ourselves in the familiar position of dropping back following getting our braking wrong down into turn number 1. So all that hard work that we did, we're going to have to redo it here to get back up the pack. And whilst it being rather embarrassing, I'm not too worried about it, because if anybody says they haven't outbroken themselves here at Fuji, I'm just going to say it now. they are lying. So our focus, as I mentioned, is going to be here back trying to recover the positions we just lost. And thankfully, everybody is battling, so they're going to make it nice and easy for us. They're losing so much time between each other, just battling and getting the lines wrong and all this sort of stuff. So we're going to come out of the final corner here, 2 by 2, like on Noah's Ark. Thankfully, we're behind the BMW and we're not behind the Alpha, which is equally as poor as the Pug down the straight. It's probably worse actually, as you can see. The BMW driver is quite happy here. We're giving him a bit of a push. He acknowledged that by putting on his hazards. That I do understand. I'm not very good at interpreting hazards, but I'm pretty sure he's saying thanks on that one. We're going to try and go around the outside here. Bobby in the Alpha, that's its strength to be fair. Whilst it loses time on the straights, it's much more nimble in the corner. So it's going to be good in the final sector, but not so good in sectors 1 and 2. Either way, through all of that, we were up to 17th. And the BMW up ahead is pushing, as you can see. I don't know if he's struggling on his tyres or what tyres he's on at this point, but he's definitely got a lively rear end, as you can see there. And we're going to be alongside. Thankfully, the Alpha, who is following the 2 Corvettes, or is trying to at least, is going to move across. He thinks about going into the pit, but he doesn't. And you can see here the difference between ourselves and the Alpha. Not deterred by our issues of the past with braking to turn number 1, we're just going to absolutely fully send it round the outside. And we're going to make the move stick. What that's going to do is it's going to give us the inside here into turn number 2, or turn number 3, I think they call it. And we're going to move up to 13th place. Simply lovely. That one was. Very, very happy with that one. Especially considering how I've struggled so far there at turn number 1. So on schedule, at the end of lap number 7, we're going to come in. We're going to get rid of the hards, no need for fuel, and we're going to put on a fresh set of boots, the mediums. And I'm the only one who stays within the pit exit lines. I am definitely a pit entry compliance enthusiast. I don't know why, you don't have to, but it really bugs me when people don't stay in the lines. But putting my grumbles to one side, you can see on the Delta there that all the medium runners are starting to come in. So now, here on lap number 8, everybody's made their pit stops and it's going to be a straight fight to the finish. Frustratingly, well actually there's one more person who's about to come in. So we're going to go up, 2 people actually. So we're going to be up to, once it all figures itself out, 14th place as we come down into turn number 1 for the 9th time. So we've got 6 laps to go here, and it's going to be, as I said, a straight fight to the finish. Disappointingly, we're stuck behind, I think that's 3 Corvettes, and we just can't touch them on the straight. There's just nothing we can do. The car's okay through the corners, and it's probably better on tyres, but down that front straight, we just cannot touch those guys. So anytime we have the slipstream, they just pull away and we fall straight out of it. As you can see here, we're catching up through the technical bit, but we just lose it on the straight. We are though going to benefit from this yellow flag up ahead. You can see here that ZPR Benadryl there in the Corvette has had an issue. So we're up to 13th place. And as per usual, we're falling away, keep your eye on the Delta, we're falling away from the 2 Corvettes in front. But what is going to help us here is, one, getting it stopped on time, which is something I haven't managed to do too often in this one, but also they are battling, and we're now closer than we've ever been to them. You can see here we get a purple sector as well, so that's the quickest first sector of anybody on the circuit in this race, which is good, and as a result we are now right on the Italian. We're going to try and stay as close to him as possible here whilst avoiding contact, because we need to for these long straight sections. He's going to have a slipstream of the fellow Corvette up in front, but we just need to stay within striking distance, and I think we're going to be coming down into the hairpin here. I think about fully sending it here, but he's got an idea of his own. I try and get that nose just in front of the Greek, so we have the inside coming up and over this awkward off camber right-hander. It isn't going to work though, so again we just need to focus on staying with them, and hopefully we're close enough down the straight to make a move into turn number 1. So they're side by side here, battling away. We are actually going to have the inside coming onto the straight, so the Greek is going to take a wide line. The Italian is going to have a bit of an issue getting that power down. I think he just unsettled the car on the curb, and we are now right behind him. Now I don't know if he's slowing down or it's just the effects of the slipstream here, but we're actually pushing the Corvette down the front straight as we start lap number 13. You can see on the radar there we've got 4 drivers in very, very close proximity. He moves left to try and take the corner. I leave it in, make sure we give him enough space on the way out, and we make the move stick. So we're up to 11th place now. But for how long? That is the question. You can see we're a million miles away from 10th there in terms of slipstream. We're never going to get that. And despite the Corvette, as I move across to try and break the toe, being a long way behind, you're just going to see him absolutely gobble us up here. Look at him closing in, closing in, closing in. I keep to the inside. There's nothing really that I can do here. I brake as late as I dare, so I need to make that apex, otherwise he will be off. And he's going to just go round the outside. And the benefit of going around the outside, as we've seen and done ourselves, is that you get the inside to the next corner. I just got out of the throttle there to allow him to take the racing line, otherwise it will just hold us both up. I faked the move coming into this big braking zone here. He's going to run wide, which is going to give us the inside on the second part coming up the hill, and we're back into 11th. But we're going to find ourselves in the same situation here as we're flying down the straight, that we just cannot keep them behind with the slipstream. But saying that, it's not all doom and gloom, and it's not all down to the cars, because we're going to be stronger through the technical section as we have seen. You can see 9th and 10th there battling up ahead, and also 7th and 8th actually. So if we hadn't made those mistakes, I do wonder what could have been. I send it one last time, it's Christmas after all, down into the big braking zone. I get it slightly wrong, there's contact. I don't know if he turned in, I don't know if that was my fault or his fault. I'm not really worried or looking to apportion blame, so I let him back through and give it one last go here as we come out of the final corner here on the final lap of this one. We're in the slipstream, but we're going to see here that whilst we close, it's not going to quite be enough. He's going to put on his hazards there, and we're going to finish in 12th place, recovering to where we started. But that's going to be the end of that one. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. Give the video a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. But most importantly, guys, have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you hopefully in the next one.